My sister asked for full custody of my son, then filed a 12-page co-parenting plan without my consent. That's when we called the lawyer. My son Leo was 6 when my husband died in a car accident. Those first few months were the hardest time of my life. I was drowning in grief while trying to keep things normal for Leo. My sister Beth stepped in immediately. She started coming over every day, bringing meals, helping with bedtime, driving Leo to school. I was grateful because I could barely function. She'd always wanted kids but couldn't have them, so I figured she was just trying to help. By month 3, Beth had her own key to my house. She was picking Leo up from school without asking, taking him to her place for sleepovers during the week, buying him new clothes and toys. I kept telling myself she was being supportive. That's what family does, right? But then I started noticing weird things. Leo would come home talking about Aunt Beth's house rules, how Aunt Beth said he should eat vegetables first, how Aunt Beth didn't let him watch the shows I let him watch. When I mentioned it to Beth, she smiled and said kids need structure, especially now. One Tuesday in June, I got a call from Leo's school. They needed to update emergency contacts and wanted to confirm that Beth was now listed as primary pickup. I never authorized that. When I asked Beth about it, she said she thought it would be easier since she was getting him most days anyway. That's when I realized how much control she'd taken. She was at my house more than I was. She'd rearranged my kitchen, bought a new bed for Leo's room without asking, even scheduled his doctor appointments. I tried to pull back, told her I needed to handle more stuff on my own. Beth got upset, said I wasn't thinking clearly, that Leo needed stability, that grief was clouding my judgment. She started showing up anyway, letting herself in with her key. The breaking point came when Leo's teacher pulled me aside at pickup. She asked if I was aware that Beth had requested copies of Leo's report cards be sent to her address, that Beth wanted to be CC'd on all school communications. I lost it, went straight to Beth's house and demanded my key back. That's when she hit me with it. She said she'd been documenting everything for months. How I forgot to pack Leo's lunch twice, how I was late to pick up a few times, how I'd missed a parent-teacher conference because I had to work. She said she was worried about my ability to parent alone and thought Leo should live with her during the week, just temporarily until I got back on my feet. I told her absolutely not and to back off. 2 weeks later, I got served with papers. Beth had filed for emergency custody, claiming I was an unfit parent due to depression and neglect. The paperwork included a 12-page document she called a co-parenting plan. It outlined how she'd have Leo Monday through Friday, make all medical and educational decisions, and I'd get supervised weekend visits. She'd written it like we'd agreed to this, like I'd signed off on giving her my son. I called a lawyer that same day. Her name was Jennifer, and she'd handled custody cases for 15 years. She read through Beth's filing and actually laughed, said this was one of the most overreaching things she'd seen. Apparently, siblings can't just file for custody unless there's serious abuse or neglect. Being sad after your husband dies isn't grounds for losing your kid. Jennifer helped me file a response and gather evidence. I got letters from Leo's teacher saying he was thriving, from his pediatrician saying he was healthy and well cared for, from my therapist confirming I was processing grief normally. We went to court 3 weeks later. Beth showed up with a binder full of photos and notes, pictures of toys she'd bought Leo, receipts from activities she'd paid for, a journal documenting every single time I'd asked her for help. The judge listened to her whole presentation, then asked one simple question. Did the mother ever agree to give you custody? Beth stammered and said not officially, but that I clearly needed help. The judge cut her off, said that helping your sister through grief doesn't give you parental rights, that keeping detailed logs of someone asking for support during the hardest time of their life was manipulative, not caring. He dismissed the case entirely and told Beth she was lucky he wasn't sanctioning her for filing frivolous paperwork. As we left the courtroom, Beth tried to apologize, said she only wanted what was best for Leo, but Jennifer pulled me away before I could respond. I changed all my locks that afternoon and blocked Beth's number, got a cease and desist letter sent to her house. Leo asked why we didn't see Aunt Beth anymore, and I told him sometimes people who love you can hurt you without meaning to. 3 months later, Beth sent a letter, not through a lawyer, just a handwritten note saying she understood she'd overstepped and hoped we could eventually talk. I'm not ready for that yet. Maybe someday, but not now. Leo's doing great. We have our own routine, our own life, and I never feel guilty for asking my friends for help anymore because I learned the difference between support and control.